The interesting thing about Felix was when I was pregnant, it was hurricane season. And that year, it was Hurricane Felix. And we knew we were having a boy, and we had decided to name him Felix because the name means happiness. So we thought, oh, what a great name. So we were set on Felix, and then it was hurricane season. It was Hurricane Felix, and Ken and I looked at each other and we're like, you know, is this a sign? So, and it kind of has been. When he was little, he was just go, go, go. Constantly on the move. And, you know, it's kind of now you see things that you're like, oh, I should have known something was going on. But he would kind of play on his own. He would occupy space when there was other kids around, but he never really played with other kids. But he was a happy baby, so happy. So, you know, you kind of focus on that and you're like, oh, he's such a happy kid. And then we just noticed that he wasn't really speaking. You know, his brother Chaz probably just is talking for him, probably not letting him talk. And we're like, okay. But, you know, we were getting close to the 2-year mark and we're like, he's not speaking and there's some other behavior. And so we thought, you know, I think we need to look into this. We went through the process at the Childhood Development Center by the Children's Hospital. And I think they spent a morning with him and they were ready to diagnose him. So it was pretty clear cut. And so, you know, you're just sitting around waiting, and then they come and they tell you so quickly and so definitively that it's hard. It's hard. I have trouble like talking about it. I feel like it's just, I feel like I'm such a doer that I'm like, no, let's move forward. And so that period was hard because it's like, you just have to sit and wait for help.
He came on the scene in June, late in 2007. Jack kind of gave us some signs right from the beginning. So he was 2 weeks overdue, took him several days to appear. So it was a long, hard process. And unfortunately, right from the hop, Jack had medical problems. So we were first admitted 3 days in. Was nothing that I had expected or planned for. And I think I always tell that to new parents, just expect the unexpected. And that certainly happened with him. So it's definitely a dramatic entry into the world. They never really could figure it out. You know, over the years, it was ear tubes and it was reflux and it was digestion problems. But then around 18 months, he stopped looking at me. He lost all his words. I thought, oh, no, this isn't happening. You know, it has to do with his medical stuff. He's a little behind because of that. You know, I went the private route, had a psychologist come to the house. She assessed Jack in our playroom on the floor and diagnosed him before she left. So she told us this is what was coming. I was floored, right? I wasn't ready. I came to do a tour of Janus with Paige McNeil, who's still here. And I thought, this is it. This is where he fits. I could imagine him there. And I saw aspects of him, who he was in that moment, right? And where he was going into first grade. But I also saw what I'd hoped for him, right? I saw kids engaged. I saw kids working one-to-one, which is what he desperately needed. I saw creative solutions, like each child had their own personalized learning plan. And I could see that just walking through the classrooms.
You know, I think we're kind of in that circumstance where his needs were so high that it limited the options for us. And Janus Academy, we found it and we're like, this place just sounds perfect. The school sounds absolutely perfect. So it's more a matter of let's, you know, cross our fingers and hope, you know, there's a space for him. And luckily there was. Just, you know, looking around at the students and the drawings and the work they were doing, and it just felt what Felix needed. So
Terry Lynn, who's still in our lives today, got him to put his lips together for weeks, and I didn't know this. And then one night, Jack said, "Mommy." So the first time he said, "Mommy," he was 7. And I picked him up at school the next day, and Terry Lynn came out, and I said, "Terry Lynn," he said, "Mommy." He said, "Mommy," spontaneously. And she said, "Oh yeah, we've been working on that." Jack's in grade 12. It's April, so we only have a couple months left. It's going to be a big transition, but I know he'll still connect with the friends he made here, like Felix, and he still has Noah, graduated last year. So many of the kids have been here. Lana, they started in grade 1 together in Lauren's class, and room 11, and they used to be dance buddies, and they're probably in the sportsplex right now, dancing and kicking the ball around, so that's been incredible too, that the kids have stayed constant, the parents have stayed constant, a lot of the staff have stayed constant. His teacher this year is Sam had him in elementary school. I don't think we would get that anywhere else.
This year is Felix's 12th year with Janus, and he's graduating. He's ready to move on. We always knew that once he was 17, 18, he'd be definitely ready to move on. But I don't know if we're ready for it. I think as Janus Academy has been such a huge part of our lives, 12 years. And there's just such comfort in sending him there. The future is a little scary, but we know Felix is ready for it because of Janus Academy. He'll be ready to go into those adult programs. If he, one day decides to work, I think he'll be ready to do that too. And he's gonna do great. And a lot of it has to do with Janus. So much of it has to do with Janus.
That, our journey here is coming to an end, but that I think Janus will just continue to grow and grow. So as much as Jack's kind of been on the front of the wave, I guess, I think that's what's coming. It's going to be okay. I didn't know that. But it will be.
Just be patient. Just be patient and be in the moment, stay positive, and just realize that this whole thing, as difficult as it can be, and that it's beautiful.